My sister Valeria was accepted into one of the best universities in the country. So my parents decided to move to Boston. When they told me, I naturally thought I would move with them. However, my father Don Javier laughed and said, "What are you talking about? There's no way we're taking you." My mother Sofia added without even looking at me, "Absolutely not. But I'll be starting high school next fall," I protested. Without lifting her eyes, my mother replied, "We don't have money to send you to high school. Everything will go to your sister Valeria." "What am I supposed to do then?" I asked, stunned. My father answered coldly, "We've already decided. We're placing you in an institution." I was shocked. They were moving with Valeria so she could study. But they were leaving me behind in an institution. They were serious. The next day, a staff member from the institution arrived. He seemed kind. He came for me. I had already lost all will to resist. I was about to get into the car when my mother said, "Not having to put up with a failure like you is such a great relief. Goodbye, we won't see each other again." And that was how my own parents sent me away to an institution. 10 years later, my biological parents reappeared in my life. My name is Elena Vargas. I am a 25-year-old working adult. I am still learning on the job, but I lead a busy and fulfilling life. Although I am happy now, I have a painful past. Let us begin from there. I was born as the second daughter in an ordinary middle-class family. The Castillo family. My family consisted of my father Don Javier, who worked in a construction company, my mother Sofia, who worked part-time in a craft store, and my older sister Valeria, who was 3 years older than me. From my perspective as the younger sister, Valeria always seemed incredibly intelligent. My parents had attended a local public high school but never went to college. They were average students. However, my sister seemed far more brilliant than anyone could imagine. From a young age, she showed exceptional talent. She learned the alphabet at 2 and spoke simple sentences at 3. She attended public elementary school, but the classes were too easy for her. Soon she was solving high school level problems on her own, which worried her teachers. Being so intelligent also brought her problems. My sister, who always stood out among her peers, began saying she did not want to go to school in the second half of elementary school. Instead, she spent her days reading books in the infirmary. Valeria is so intelligent she could be considered gifted. Perhaps you should consider letting her take entrance exams for private secondary schools. To give her an education that suits her better, one of her elementary teachers suggested. My parents accepted the idea. They let Valeria take the exams. Of course, she passed without difficulty, and was accepted into one of the best private secondary schools in the country. I will never forget how happy my parents were at that moment. It was as if an ordinary family had raised a falcon. I can't believe Valeria is so brilliant. Maybe she'll become a doctor or a lawyer in the future. Now we are set for life, they said. Growing up beside a sister like that, what kind of girl was I? My grades were average. They were not bad, but they never stood out like Valeria's. I had no special talent in sports or arts either. I was just an ordinary girl. The way people looked at me was cold, especially my parents. Valeria is excellent, but Elena can't do anything. Why don't you learn 1 or 2 things from your sister? You weren't born with the brightest mind. That was almost a motto for my parents. My grandparents and other relatives were the same. They always praised my sister and barely noticed me. But I wanted my parents to notice me, to know that I also had value. I could not compete with Valeria, but I did my best. One day in 4th grade, I scored 95 on an exam and came first in class. Mom, Dad, I got the highest score. Look. With flushed cheeks, I showed them my test paper, hoping for praise. But they only sighed. What if you got 95 on an elementary test? Why didn't you get 100? Valeria was already solving university-level problems at your age. After hearing that, I could not hold back and ended up crying in my room. Later, my sister came to me. Elena, I'm sorry, it's always because of me, isn't it? Valeria, it's not your fault, it's my fault for not being as good as you. But Elena, you are kind, besides, you are the class representative. I could never do that. I know you have many good qualities. My sister always had that kindness in her. Although she sometimes seemed like a rare being buried in her studies. She was never arrogant or mean, despite our parents always favoring her. That is why I could not help but admire and love her. I never felt jealous of her. Time passed, and when my sister entered private secondary school, my mother changed. She used to be an ordinary housewife who worked part-time. But suddenly she began wearing designer clothes. All the parents at this school are rich. I have to make sure they don't look down on me, she said. Despite that, my parents tried to reduce expenses with me to the minimum. I do not remember receiving anything for my birthday or Christmas after the early elementary years. My basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter were covered. But all my clothes were second-hand. I was given my sister's old clothes, even underwear. Even if they were tight or had holes, I had to wear them, and that was very embarrassing. My sister let me choose some of her clothes. But my position in the family remained the worst. In fact, they treated me like a burden. After I finished middle school, my sister entered one of the best high schools in the country. She continued to excel as one of the top students. For me, my parents sent me to a local public high school. By then, they had completely lost interest in me. They treated me with even more indifference than before. One day, my father announced proudly, "Valeria, you placed third in the national mock exams." My mother added excitedly, "You really are a genius. You are the best in mathematics and English. Being among the top 5 in the country. You truly are my pride and joy." While listening, I also said, "Congratulations, Valeria." My father looked at my sister with a big smile and said, "I reserved a restaurant today to celebrate. Let's go." My mother put on her designer clothes and applied lipstick before saying, "Make sure you eat well today, Valeria." Then, when I joined in, "We're going out to dinner today, so I'll change my clothes." My parents looked at me in surprise and exclaimed at the same time, "What?" They turned to each other and started laughing. "What's wrong?" I asked. Mom and Dad said, "No way, we're not taking someone like you to a fancy restaurant. Don't get your hopes up, you'll stay home." At that moment, my sister spoke. "Mom, Dad, I want to go with Elena." "Oh Valeria, you are so kind. But today is about celebrating you, right? Besides, we only made a reservation for 3 people. Valeria, let's go," said my father as he pulled her arm. And my mother followed. I panicked and shouted, "Mom, what about my dinner? What am I supposed to do?" My mother replied while pointing with her chin at a package of expired deli bread. "Eat this if you're hungry." Seriously, Valeria goes to a fancy restaurant and you leave me this? It's 1,000 times better to spend that money on Valeria's education than on giving you a treat. You should be grateful you at least have something to eat. After saying that, my parents and sister left me behind. I stayed biting the cold bread while tears ran down my face. I felt miserable. Hours later, my sister returned. She brought me a boxed meal from the restaurant full of steak and salad. "Elena, I brought this for you. Eat it." But I pushed her hand away. "Leave me alone. Just seeing that makes me feel worse." "Elena, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," my sister said. I knew it was not her fault, but at that moment it hurt deeply. When I was in my 3rd year of high school and my sister in her final year, something unexpected happened. My parents called me. "Elena, we have something important to discuss today." My father continued, "Valeria has been accepted into one of the best universities in the country." "Congratulations, Valeria," I said. My sister replied quietly, "Thank you." Then my mother continued, "That's why we decided to move to Boston. So you'll move too and find a high school there, right?" I asked. Suddenly my father started laughing. "What are you talking about? There's no way we're taking you. But in the fall we'll be entering high school. We don't have money to send you to high school. All our money will be for Valeria." "Then what am I supposed to do?" My mother replied, "We have decided to place you in an institution." I was stunned. The next day the staff member from the institution came to pick me up. He seemed kind, but I had already lost all will to resist. When I was about to get into the car, my mother said to me, "Not having to put up with a failure like you is such a great relief. Goodbye, we won't see each other again." With that she closed the car door. My sister was shouting something until the end, but I looked away from her. From then on, my life in the institution began. The staff were good people and the other children were kind to me too. I managed to attend high school and study with great dedication. 2 years after arriving at the institution, I had an encounter that changed my life. The director introduced me to a kind middle-aged couple. Mr. and Mrs. Harrington are thinking of adopting you. I asked them questions. They could not have children of their own. So they had come to the institution looking for a child to adopt. They noticed me because I was working very hard on my studies. The man who introduced himself as Alexander Harrington said, "I've heard about your situation. Would you come live with us?" His wife Sophia continued, "Of course you can attend any university you want. Think of us as your real parents and move forward with your studies. We know it must have been difficult for you." I was deeply moved by their kind tone and could not help but cry. "Thank you. It would be an honor to join your family," I replied. That was how the Harrington family took me in. They owned a company, so they were wealthy and tried to give me the best. They served me delicious and nutritious meals every day, which was like a dream come true for me. Little by little I opened up to them and they to me. They treated me as if I were their own daughter. They even let me attend private tutoring classes. As a result, I was able to enroll in a very prestigious private university, although it was not as famous as the one my sister attended. When I received the acceptance letter, I told them, "All of this is thanks to you, Mom and Dad." The Harrington couple were deeply moved and could not hold back their happy tears. "You're calling us Mom and Dad. Thank you, Elena. You are our beloved daughter. Yes, we will support any future you choose. Elena, you can do whatever you want." When I heard that, I told them something with a serious face. 10 years had passed since I was sent to the institution. One day when I was finishing work and about to go home, I finally saw them. "Elena, is that you?" My biological parents said, standing in front of me. "We missed you. You've grown up to be so splendid. You really are our daughter." They smiled as they said this. I twisted my face and replied, "What do you want now?" I saw a business magazine with a photo of me and my adoptive father with the headline, "The Father-Daughter Bond in Harrington Corporation." My mother tossed the magazine. "We saw that you will be the heir to Harrington Corporation, right?" My adoptive father was the president of an important local company. When I went to university, I told him I wanted to work in his company and be useful. My adoptive parents were very happy about this. Later I took the appropriate entrance exams and joined Harrington Corporation, where I progressed and improved my performance. My adoptive father, recognizing my abilities, told me last year that he was thinking of making me the next president and kept me close to teach me the business. My biological father, smiling with his yellow teeth, mocked, "If you are the heir to Harrington Corporation, you must be earning a lot of money. What does that have to do with you? We are family. Aren't you happy about your daughter's growth? Valeria is not supposed to be living happily with you in Boston," I said sarcastically. But my father replied, She is not good. She ran away abroad after graduating from university. We actually thought she would become a doctor or lawyer and support us. But she abandoned us. Such an ungrateful daughter despite everything we did for her." My parents were expressing their discontent. I did not say a word, just listened. Then my mother continued, "But now we have Elena. Since you are our daughter, you will help your real parents, right? We couldn't find decent jobs in Boston and we have debts. So we came back. Please help us. Help us. We are family after all. When parents are in trouble, it is the daughter's duty to take care of them." My parents had the audacity to say this and I was stunned. Just as I was about to respond, the Harrington couple appeared. "Do you need something from our daughter?" My mother became nervous and raised her voice. "What do you mean? We are just having a family conversation. Don't interfere," I declared bluntly. "These people legally adopted me. These are my real parents. What adoption without our permission? As an adult I can do it by my own choice. These people are my dad and mom. You are practically strangers to me now. Don't talk to me anymore. Please leave." Then my mother screamed, "Elena, you are not planning to abandon us, are you? If you walk away." Finally I responded sharply, reaching my limit. "I have not forgotten that you discarded me. Now it is my turn to discard you. I will return what you said to me. Goodbye. We won't see each other again." Intimidated by my firm stance, my parents faltered. I had one last thing to say to them. "If you appear in front of us again, I will call the police. Other than that, we will simply fall into hell together." I left my parents stunned behind and left the scene with my adoptive parents. Later I heard that my biological parents went around asking for money from relatives, but were rejected at every door and ended up moving into a rundown apartment. Assuming my sister would support them, they had saved little and were in debt. Finally they had to start working. Due to their age, they could not find decent jobs. So my father went back to being a security guard and my mother returned to working part-time in a supermarket. Upon hearing this, I felt no sympathy. My true feelings were indifference. Meanwhile, I was on vacation in the United Kingdom. Elena, here. Oh, I have wanted to see you for so long. My sister Valeria, crying, hugged me. It turned out we had been in contact since she sent letters to the institution. She got a job in a big company in the United Kingdom and now she is married. Hello Valeria, I think we have really discovered what true happiness is. I also cried as I hugged her back. We were like when we were little girls, hugging and crying together. I made a promise to myself to keep working hard, repay the Harringtons for their kindness, and brighten my own future. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.